Alamogordo Tiger football gets ready to wrap up their season on Friday. They make the long trip out to Clovis. We're joined by Alamogordo Tigers head football coach AJ Cisco. Coach, how are you?
Hey, man, how's it going? Week 10.
11
goes
actually.
by fast, right?
Yeah.
It goes by fast.
For sure. And we say that every single year as we get to this point in the year. But obviously you guys are hoping that it continues after this week. So.
Yeah, we got to take care of our own things. And then if we do that, and then we're going to be just fine and move on. And if we don't, then it's like a playoff game for us this week.
Yeah. I don't know if there's really much to come out of the Cruces game. I thought y'all in the first half played them pretty well, but just made too many mistakes in that game.
And Cruces is good. I mean, there's a reason why they are who they are and why they're ranked number 1 and beat Cleveland. I was really happy with how our kids came out and played hard. I mean, we get a stop on the first drive, get a drive going, and then stall out, and then we call a fake punt that we've saved all year for that moment, and our kid just forgets to run it. And it's wide open. So we took our shots at it, but, defensively, we weren't going to let them beat us running the ball. And we forced them to do some things and beat us in one-on-one coverage and man coverage. And they did. That's how they got their 21. But I thought we played hard. We ran to the ball. I thought we got after it. I thought offensively we had success moving the ball. We just couldn't. I thought the big game changer was when it was 14-0 and we get down and have first and goal at the 8 and then totally botch that with a snap and everything else and a penalty. That kind of turned that game over. I mean, because it's about to be 14-7 going into halftime. We screw that up. They go score real fast. It's 21-0, and then we got an injury in the second half that they found real fast and exploited the heck out of it when we put the backup in there. So, Cruz is a good team, but and for us offensively, I wasn't very pleased with how we sustained drives. I thought our offensive line was really bad performance-wise up front. And that just goes back. That's kind of what our struggles have been the last 3 weeks with all the injuries we've had offensively, missing 3 guys. So we are healthy finally. So we got all our guys back. So we're excited for Friday.
Yeah, not only offensive line, you get Strong back this week as well.
Yeah, we do. We get Strong back. We get Kamari back. We get Carter back. So that offensive line is going to be intact just like it was for the previous 3 weeks before. I mean, we haven't had him since Centennial, Carlsbad, and Cruces.
Yeah, and that's, something to know. I mean, we've talked about the offensive line, a couple of those guys, but Kamari is another.
He hasn't played. He hasn't played those 3 weeks either.
But he's almost like an extra offensive line.
He's like an extra guard for us, and he's done a great job all year in blocking and doing those things. And when he goes down, we had to put Valdez over there, which means he's playing more. And so you get Galbraith back to be the right tackle, which will allow Dominic to go back to his natural home, which will allow Jace to go back to his natural home. It's exciting to get them all back. It was frustrating for those 3 weeks when you got important games and we're just missing kids and we couldn't get it figured out correctly and get it organized. I don't say organized. We just couldn't execute. I mean, the guys we were putting in there couldn't get it done, and hopefully we can get it done on Friday.
And you also end up having to play more guys both ways, and that obviously, that adds
wears them
to
down.
Fatigue at the end of the game. And we saw that with Nate. We saw that with Bryson. And so, getting things back to maybe what you expect, maybe a little bit more like we saw over the first few games of the season. This
will be the closest we've been to week 3, week 2, week 4 that we've had all year. So it's exciting for us in that regard. The kids know what's at stake going into Clovis, but we're excited to kind of see how we play. I thought the bye week was really good for us. I mean, I hated how late it came in the year, but I thought that was huge for us to get that. And we took the entire week off from physically getting after them with pads on. We did a ton of stuff. We still had them out there in pads moving, doing all their stuff normally, but we had to get them going and getting back into the basic stuff that we kind of move on from as we get through the season. And then we focused a lot with our younger kids. I mean, those younger kids got to go and bang a lot and get after it, while our older kids got to recover and rest a little bit, and that was huge for us. But I thought our kids approached the bye week the right way with the mindset that we told them they had to have for it, and then get into this week. And they've responded with 3 really good days of practice so far.
And I think it's also be clear that, you guys were never using that as an excuse. The guys were going out there and playing hard and doing what they could. But at the end of the day, all those guys that we mentioned are key players for you. And in any high school football team in New Mexico, you take 4 or 5 key players off the table, it's going to be a different situation.
And you go at the 6A level, it's huge.
Yeah.
When you're playing guys that are all healthy and are relatively healthy and have all their guys going, your backs are against the wall and you're fighting an uphill battle. But it's not an excuse. I mean, the kids we put in there are kids that we thought that should be able to play and can play, and they're kids that we have high hopes for the future. They're young. You can see the bright lights on Friday night, what it does to some people the first time they get it. You saw that with Cruces with a couple of those linemen that got thrown in there. But it's not an excuse. Like, those kids have to be ready, and that's our job to get them ready and get them ready to perform in that situation. So, like I said, our approach to the bye week was great. Our approach to this week has been good, and the sole focus of our intentions of what we're trying to do for this season. And then getting all those kids back. I mean, you kind of feel like a different energy. And the bye week's a good thing just because you go, and we've been going since June, and there's no time off. Once we get going in June, we kind of just grind through the whole summer and into the season. And those kids are really excited. And then after you go through 10 weeks of football and you're physically beat up, it's good to give them a week off. And you can see the different attitude coming in on Monday morning of that, hey, they're rejuvenated. It's kind of a refocused group now, knowing that we're in the last part of our season. And we know that whenever we lose a game, we're done, however long that takes.
We get a Clovis team, and this program's one that's trying to improve and trying to build up its numbers and get better. I mean, I feel like, you could liken them back to you guys in 2017, 18, and trying to get things where they want it to be. And they're starting to show that improvement. They've played pretty well in some games this year. They got a nice win over Farmington at the beginning of the year, and of course they beat Oregon Mountain, and were competitive in some games against Hobbs and Carlsbad.
They were pretty much competitive in all their games for at least a half.
Yeah.
You go to the Hobbs game, it was 17-14 Hobbs. At halftime, Hobbs kicked a last-second field goal. Clovis had 2 possessions, scored 2 touchdowns. You go to the Centennial game, they take the opening kickoff, go 80 yards, score, and Cruci, that one where it really wasn't close, but Carlsbad was competitive for a little bit, and Carlsbad kind of pulled away in the second and third quarter. They kind of struggle in that regard of just they don't have the numbers, they don't have the depth, and those kids play a lot, and you can see them kind of wear down a little bit. When I talk to Coach Hodges, man, those kids play hard. I mean, it's not the Clovis team from last year. They've got skill kids that are talented and really good as anybody we've seen all year. But the difference is their effort and attitude. Like, they get after it. They don't back down from it, even when they're outmatched or out physical. They continue to grind. And last year was the case where you can see them kind of just checking it out and turning it off and checking it in. Now those kids will keep playing, and even when they're outmatched, they keep playing and get after it. That's a credit to Coach Hodges and what they're doing over there. I mean, if we go over there and don't play well, it's going to be a long night for us.
Offensively, for what they do, we're looking at spread, more running the football, look a little bit like you guys, or what is it?
It depends on where they're at. Their quarterback is a kid named Javier Jimenez, who played against us last year, and he's quicker than hell and throws it well. He gave us fits the entire first half of the game last year, just getting loose, and we'd get pressure on him, he'd take off, and next thing you know, it's a 25-yard gain. And so, like, they want to get in 10 personnel, and they want to get into 11 personnel and try to run the ball, and then let him get out on the edge and throw and let him scramble and do those things. But at the same time, there's going to be situations they get in there in these giant heavy sets, and they are huge. I mean, they got some monsters. And they've got a running back named Lenny Royal, Royal's his last name, number 4, and he's going to play college. Like, he's good enough to play college football as a running back. He's legit. I think he goes unnoticed a little bit just because, 1, their record's not as good, and then 2, he doesn't get as many carries as, say, somebody else would in that regard, but he's every bit of as good a running back as there is in the state. And then they got a receiver named number 7, Mendoza, who's electric. I mean, I would compare him to the Castaneda kid from Carlsbad. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was a sophomore last year. So they got a bunch of kids that were sophomores last year, juniors that started and went through that whole tough process, and now that are back their junior and senior year, and you can see the growth in them.
And I will say for you guys defensively, and which game it was is kind of escaping me, but you did pretty well against a mobile quarterback, and the team, whether you were in the spy or your guys' athleticism on defense, seemed like you could contain that pretty well, or at least better than you did at times last year, I would say.
Yeah, no, that's for sure, and that's something that when you get Saris and Jesse as the 2 inside linebackers, who Jesse's kind of the quarterback of the whole thing and runs it and makes sure we're aligned correctly, and Saris is usually one of the best athletes in the stadium every Friday night. So we have some advantages, and then you get Strong back in the back end, Bryson back in the back end. You've got Moreno, Bowman, Vince. I mean, we have speed and athletes to go. So matching up wise with guys that can get out and run, we match up a lot better in that regard. You go to the D ends, you got Michael Scott and Tanner, who are athletic and can run. So physically, we match up a lot better in certain areas, especially with mobile quarterbacks that can get out and go. Even though we are undersized, that does kind of fit us. So we got to keep him in the pocket. We can't let him get loose and do his thing, because he is a problem.
Yeah. For you guys, I mean, I think the biggest thing is the level of, you talked about level of excitement of, maybe getting the offense back the way that you guys wanted to, with the front 6, 7 back to what they had been earlier in the season. So being able to get back to run the football with Nate and Bryson and Nathaniel and whoever it may be, and kind of impose your will a little bit like you did earlier in the season.
Yeah, that's the goal. We got to execute to make that happen. The goal is, when we lost those injuries and you lose Kamari, who was very versatile, played pipe wrench for us or fullback, and then we go play tight end, and we were allowed to get in 2 tight end sets, and we got into a bunch of different formations. We kind of got hamstrung in that regard because now we just had 1 tight end, and we had to put JV as a pipe, and he wasn't really meant to be a tight end. So we kind of got stuck in certain situations and limited in what we could do. So we're excited to get all those guys back and try to get back. We haven't stopped trying to run the football. That's who we are. That's our identity. Getting those kids back and letting us try to be more explosive, being more creative in things we do because we know we can pass pro better now. We're going to be able to get on the edge better because we're going to be able to hook on the edge. So those things are the parts that get us excited, and especially with this game plan this week offensively of getting those skill kids in Best, Bloom, and Sarah loose.
And, it's one of those, I don't even want to bring it up again just because I feel like each game we've talked about over the last 3 or 4 times, and we talk about how big it is in terms of the playoff picture. And, listen, at the end of the day, you guys have to win. It's not a guarantee that if you win on Friday night that y'all are in, but y'all know that if you don't win on Friday night, the season's going to be over.
Yeah, for sure, and that's the mindset. And we kind of had that through the entire district because our district's so dang tough that every week if you beat one of them, you're in the playoffs. Carlsbad did it against us, and you saw them throwing a Gatorade bath and all that. So we find that mindset all year of, hey, you win this, you're in the playoffs, guarantee it. We feel like if we do this, we're going to be in the playoffs. We've kind of done all the math and figured it out where we'll be ranked and who we'd be playing next week. If everybody wins like they're supposed to, all the favorites. But it is teenage men playing football, so you can never depend on 16, 17-year-olds to do the right things all the time. So we tell our kids on Monday, hey, we can control what we control. And that's the only thing we can worry about is what we control, and that's how we play on Friday in Clovis and handle a 4-hour trip and handle some chilly weather that we haven't had and handle I haven't been to Clovis since 1998 and played or coached at Leon Williams since then. But as a kid growing up, when they were in the district with us at Roswell High, I spent many Friday nights there in October, freezing my tail off, and that is a tough place to play way back then. So I'm sure it's starting to get back to that point where you got the dog pound on the visitor side, and they're raucous and going crazy, and the home side's packed. So I'm pretty sure it's starting to get back to that. So it's going to be a tough environment for us, and we got to handle the road trip, got to handle the weather, and like I said, the only focus is what we control, and that's how we play on Friday.
All right, well, we'll look forward to it. Again, 7 o'clock kickoff on Friday against Clovis as the regular season wraps up. Good luck, Coach.
All right, appreciate it, man. Go Tigers.